And welcome back once again to the Awkward Analysis with Chromoid. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching today. We're going to be going into the Hercules Squad, submitted by Twistchalk. These are very robotic-looking entries. I kind of dig them. They're very, very cool. They're going to be going up against the Victoria Universalis medium armored, whatever that's called, by Magma 8520 in a short amount of time here. So I like the aesthetics here. We have steampunk versus steampunk robot, or steampunk landboat versus steampunk robot. So I think it's lovely how that turned out this way. These are supposed to be anti-air tanks, I believe, is what I was told in the message that Twistchalk sent me. He said he's adapted these for tank-to-tank combat, but that's why they have these vertical turrets on the side. There's no horizontal turn on them. The whole body has to turn for the turrets to aim properly. But they have amazing elevation on them. That fact, they can reach all the way behind them and shoot backwards. So there's that, I guess. Pardon me. Clogged throat. Anyway, let's get right into this review. We have two A2 Hercules tanks. We have two B class Hercules tanks. We have one C class Hercules tanks. I don't know which one is which. They're all called the Hercules Squad. In fact, hold on. If I take this off, okay, here we go. That's the C. We're gonna stick with the C since it's the one I landed on, and we're gonna go ahead and review it. This is I hate when this happens. Pardon me. Sometimes it will switch to mouse-based for no good reason. This is, I think, the biggest tank here. It definitely has the largest guns. You see there's single cannons on each turret, and they're very, very big. It's coated in ERA armor, ERA armor, however you say that. It's reactive armor that reflects heat shells, so if you get hit with a heat shell, these will actually detonate. They destroy themselves when the heat hits it, but nothing else will be damaged underneath them. Very effective. It's just absolutely covered in them. I guess he was expecting to meet up with a lot of heat in this tournament, and I think that's a pretty safe assumption. It uses traditional car steering, as you can see, and you can already see that the issue with a top-heavy tank like the Hercules using car steering is that when the steering is complete, it tries to turn the other way, it tends to kind of tip up on one side, and that can throw off the aim a little bit. But I don't know. It may not be as bad as it looks. I'm sure he has put some thought into this as they collide. Yes, from the depths AI, always here to remind us that nothing is perfect. Let's try to figure out what that does. Oh yes, there used to be data blades in the bottom, so that to keep it from tipping like that, I had him remove them. So this is an artifact left over from that. It's supposed to set all the data blades to rotate and push it down to the ground. Downforce is only allowed to be administered by jets. Data blades are not allowed. Anyway, here's the ammunition for the Class C Hercules Squad member. It's basically just a small shaped charge, and it fires, that's roughly not 290. Let's take a look at one of these turrets real quick and see what they have. I'm guessing it's 290 millimeter shell. Whoop, I am backwards here. Sideways turrets always mess with me here. Okay, close enough. 293 millimeter shell. That's a pretty doggone big shell. Not as big as some of the others. For example, the Victoria Universalis has the main gun fires a 333 millimeter shell, so not as big as I thought it was, but still, 293 millimeters of heat coming at you is pretty doggone painful. That's a 47.7 penetration metric, some decent particle count, meh explosive damage. So maybe not the most damaging shot, but if they fire fast enough, it might just be devastating enough to really do some damage. Very small engine, doesn't need a lot to power the amount of wheels he's got here. It's mostly just a box of armor, and that's probably a good thing. There's goods and bads to this. The good stuff is that you're not going to hit anything really critical in here for a while. It's going to take a while to dig through all this, and unless you have aim point select, in which case your tank will probably aim right here to take this out. I don't know where he's keeping his ammunition. I don't. I can't. I'm sure I've walked right by it before, and it's here somewhere. But oh, there it is. There's a little bit of it in the front. So yeah, his ammunition is in the front, right here. So basically, all you have to do is face it from the front, hit it a couple times here, blow the ammunition sky high, and then you just drill through to the AI and core it out. Not sure how that's going to work in theory or in practice, but in theory, that seems a little fragile to me. Anyway, let's look at these turrets one more time. Just get a look at what we have here. Because he's using such short shells, that's a tongue twister. In his for this cannon, he can actually use 1 meter shell clips, which is really useful. It allows for a much quicker reload, saves a lot of space. He's got 4 autoloaders here for each gun. I don't know how fast they fire. Let's test that real quick, shall we? Because we have amazing elevation, we just fire straight up. Boom! There we go. And now we're going to go over here and look at this one more time. Okay, so basically a 7-second cooldown on the guns. They fire once every 7 seconds. That's not very good for a shell of that diameter with the damage it does. It needs to fire a lot faster, in my opinion. So, I mean, in spite of it looks like it's got a lot of autoloaders here. It could fire 4 shots at least in a relatively quick amount of time. But with the gun barrel taking that long to cool down, it's just wasting its potential. Anyway, that's the C. Let's go visit one of these over here. I'm not sure what these are. Gonna land on top. This is a Model B. Okay. Again, we have the detection equipment up top. We have I suspect that the main hull is pretty much the same as the C. Yep, there's the turning wheels. There's the engine down here in the bottom back part. There's some repair bots. Things a little different configuration, but still roughly the same. This is going to be different though. The shell type. We've got a base bleeder for extra speed, and then we have a solid sabot. Or not solid, it's just pure sabot. So 1 sabot warhead body and 1 sabot head. So that's going to move very fast, 741 meters per second. Decent damage, 6,213, and decent armor pen. Not the strongest armor pen. Oh, I'm in the wrong place. Okay, so we're going to go down here. Oh, okay. So it's only 2,373 damage and 29.6 penetration. Now that's still enough to fully penetrate metal without any negative modifiers, but heavy armor is going to bounce that fairly easily. It's going to move roughly 684 meters per second, so the accuracy shouldn't be a huge deal. But still, I feel like that's kind of a underwhelming amount of firepower. Let's see how fast these guns can reload. Well, I need to be out here for that to happen. Point the guns up. These are twin-barreled, so they actually have the ability to fire off multiple shots at one time. Why can't I fire? There we go. Okay, so they fire in burst mode. They all fire at the same time. They're not staggered. That could be good. 4 of those shells hitting simultaneously could be pretty devastating. Let's look at how long they take to reach... What? No shell loaded? Oh, I see. 7.5 seconds. That's not very good. That's even slower than the last tank. So it looks like a case of a lot of guns, a lot of armor for these tanks, but not a lot in the way of DPS. I get the feeling that that's not going to turn out too well for these tanks in the end. I mean, and I know they're refits of a model that was originally designed to fight aircraft. I understand that, twist shock, but I don't like the way I don't really. I don't like how this is looking. I mean, I like the way it looks, obviously, but something about it just tells me that it's not going to get what you could, the amount of performance you could get out of it. Was another solid, pure sabot setup. This is going to be an A2. Same basic configuration here. There's ammunition in the back this time. Maybe that was the other one too, had ammunition in the back, and I was just looking at the wrong end. My bad. These are even smaller cannons, 100 millimeters, and they're 2 cannons for 1 firing piece. So that's going to help with reload quite a bit. That's very good. There's 1 cooling vent, some cooling vents. Yeah, I don't think this is going to reload very quickly, or cool down very quickly either. The reload with the belt fed is not going to be bad, but since it doesn't have a lot of coolers on it, it's probably going to take a long time for those barrels to cool down, which means you're not going to get the reload time you could out of it once more. So let's raise this up. Whoop, wrong tank. Let's go over here to the A2, please. Here we go. Raise these barrels up here. Raise them high and firing. Yeah, so both barrels fire in relatively quick succession, but then they take forever to reload. Comparatively speaking, they don't take forever really, but for that kind of caliber, you want to be firing a lot faster, especially if you've got Sabo. It's a bit of a machine gun, chain gun kind of shell. You want to fire fast and hard, unless you've got a much larger shell type, in which case you might be able to afford to slow it down a bit. But I don't know. I'm a bad theorizer. Every time I think I know how something's going to turn out, it ends up surprising me. So I'm going to reserve judgment, but I don't know. These are impressive looking tanks. They look very fearsome, but oh, they like to give hugs. Oh, that's cute. That's very cute. Oh, and there's one left alone over here. Let's go visit him. Make sure he's not alone. We've already reviewed all of them, but I don't know. Twist Shock, I like your entries. I like them a lot. I like the way they look. They're very boss looking, man, but I'm not sure how they're going to perform on the battlefield. I guess we'll have to wait for them to fight to find out, won't we? Well, that's enough of me babbling. Thank you guys for watching. This has been Awkward Analysis with Chromoid, and I'll see you guys on the battlefield. Bye-bye.